It has become clear to me that I must create a presentation. And although I don't take in a lot of media trying to figure things out, as that was like 15 years ago for me, it's just in here. So I have to put it out in an orderly fashion so that others who can see may benefit. Even just one man or one woman or one kid can benefit from visualizing the perspective of what's occurring within them so that they can get to the place of more efficiently letting go so that they can then get to the place of opening and expanding their internal belief structure so they can continue to grow from within and not accidentally be fighting themselves internally. It seems like this external world or the controllers or Israel or whoever, right, is uh, is the problem against your life. But if you go back thousands of years, it would be the same scenario that you have going on inside. And although there's a changing of the ages currently, what you're really doing in this life is remembering to fulfill your mission. So that would be the occurrence no matter what time frame or timeline you lived in. So pointing at the the controllers, the influencers, the dark arts or whatever is literally a a thing that gives your alter ego inside you an easy thing to point at as distraction and resistance. If you're being honest with yourself, you knew that there was going to be some distraction and resistance when you got here, but putting your energy on Democrat, Republican, or those are the bad guys, and saying, but it's really affecting people's lives. People are dying. But there's never been a time in which people weren't dying, and there is no death, merely opportunities before. So all of those things that everybody puts as that's the problem, that is a curated external problem that's an offering for you to at some point learn in perspective separate from you so you can see it and then realize, oh, this is a feed mechanism to me. It's part of the storyline that has been curated for me, and which I'm also energizing because what I pay attention to grows. And so it's this slow trickle of following the water back to its source and saying, but wait the fuck up. Hold on a second. Who am I? What is actually occurring? What is truthfully and actually occurring? You can hold on to all those perspectives of fear and finger pointing, which is all on a flat line of just writing out facts on a piece of paper. Factual. It's all factual. But it's not the core truth. It's it's a series of reflections of the original light ray. And so it's a bit skewed every time it reflects. It has a new story written on top of it. So my suggestion is to get back to the original source of the light. And this is not some I'm Christian, so you're talking about Lucifer. That shit is, and you can feel it. Be honest with yourself. isn't that some type of confusing thing that you think you're right about, but really didn't come from you and you didn't find inside your heart? You found from somebody else, proliferating information from somebody else over and over and over again. They're all a little bit confused because none of them fully sit truly just with their heart. They sit with this this mechanism, this machine, this law. And then they say, yeah, I sit with my heart, but law first. Who were you before you came here? Is that law a requirement to the spirit or the divinity or the energy that you are in limitless form before you came here? But what is it that you're meant to do? Get back to the truth, the true light, the true source of you. Get back to the darkness of you. Get back to the core of you. And everyone, on every level, you get back far enough, you are a pillar of light. And inside that pillar of light, you are the essence, the vibration, which then creates, proliferates the frequency of divine original love. You are the singular one love, everyone. I have a hard time saying this to people sometimes, so I just avoid it and kind of go along with whatever they're saying because it's not my place to preach, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's my place to live as the way. And so that's what I'm focusing on, is living as the way. I always feel better when I say it. It's not opinion. Everybody sees the core of truth from the angle of which they are vibrating at. It's the same truth, but they're seeing it from different trajectories. At some point, you must find it within you to say, well, what's past the angle that I'm seeing it at? What is the core truth? Get back to that. And when you get back to that, you'll see, well, all the things I'm all holding on to here, the bad guys, or my friends say things that I don't like, or I agree with this political or social philosophy. I don't agree with some parts of it, but most of it. I agree with what I've learned in school and occupation because it's what serves me. All of it, all of it, all of it is just a layering on top mechanism of invisible agreements that have been made of how functionality of matter shall be perceived. You are an organism that is creating everything. And yet, you don't like hearing that because then that puts in place some type of first feeling like, oh, it can't be that. And then second, well, what about all the things I don't like in life? These two are steps that must be let go of. Everything at some essence, some true core point must be let go of. And the more you get back to being the true you, the more you become the pillar and allow the pillar of what you actually are to shine through the the perimeter basin, the vase, the character avatar of you here now. The more you do that, the more you are actually fulfilling your purpose, honoring your gift, following your bliss, and leaving a path of luminescence as the way for everyone else who ever ponders what is actually in the shit fucking happening here in this place. And what is this place? How does it work? What's the implication of that? How do I work? What am I? Where am I from? All of these guesses, because they're not more than guesses of, I don't care if it's Gnosticism or the Essenes or Satanism. Obviously there's a lot of it's not true, bullshit, it's fear-based, but Gnosticism has some good points. Not all of it, a lot of it. Anytime there's a perspective of a mass collective believing in a team over the truth, they become internally on an individual level in allegiance with the legion and not their true self as legend. It is a great coping mechanism to serve the team, but then the team can easily have food coloring droplets added to whatever the recipe is of the team, no matter what it is, a sports team or religion or anything. And that then becomes something that the individuals who support and devote themselves to that team absorb as their own. And then they are curating and creating an unconscious level an acceptance into their subconscious and projecting and creating that thing out into this life. Because this place is reflecting the true core you. But this place is reflecting what you're allowing. So that may be confusing when I say the true core you, because the true core you is that pillar of love, singular one love. This place is reflecting what you are allowing, what's held in your unconscious and seeped into your subconscious, what's in your core belief structure. And most of your core belief structure is a program that you have adapted to and received, and really none of it is your idea. And if there's some folks that see this, anybody ever, maybe one folk, and you already know all this, you already know it. Good. Got it. Love you. I don't know why I'm talking the way I am, but it seems as if I'm saying it in the manner of somebody who hasn't fully put things in order, but they know there's other things going on in this life that society is not telling them the truth about. Because maybe society can't tell them, because society is just a place marker. And everything is a self-serving loop. So society being a self-serving loop, it doesn't benefit society. All right, bud. All right. It doesn't benefit society to show anyone the characteristics of their own growth beyond society, because society requires divine, limitless spirit energy in a character, in an avatar, to project its energy through so that it continues. That's how everything functions. So it is the vessel of you that is creating your world. And as you're creating your world, it seems like that's not real. And so it's kind of crazy making. But it's layered and there's nuance to it. People tend to jump into the most exciting thing or the most thought-provoking thing, or what would be considered the deepest or most tantalizing thing, manifestation or law of attraction or tantra sex or whatever, and all real, but everything's real based on what you're allowing it to be. My current perspective is that I must put together an order of events for others to be able to perceive the movement and the functionality in more of a 2D form, so it's simple, so that they can see it without having to come back over and over and over again to take in all this confusing content from all these different perspectives. And that doesn't mean any of it's good or bad. If you look at the whole picture, nothing is good or bad. It means that someone going down this road has the capability of truly conquering their themselves and living their life as the mission of the embodiment of the way. And that seems too big or too scary, but it is possible. And by achieving that and doing that internally, the external reflects that. And then the external reflects that, not necessarily in a way that is perfect for that being, because it is perfect for that being, but in a way that is more importantly setting a stage and guiding others and teaching others without having to one-on-one do it, how to actually live life properly, how to actually grow properly, how to actually master self properly. And the core mechanisms are expanding the belief structure and forgiveness. And to do it in order, everything in life is into social orders are telling us to use our mind in certain ways and use our bodies in certain ways that are out of order. And the proper order always is to start with your heart. Start with your heart and then use the mind's attention, spotlight the mind on the heart's intention. You allow your body to listen with your third brain, your gut. It will tell you when and how to pivot. And you have to get really, really good at just listening to yourself. And the more energy and attention we put on all these things, from football, American or European or South American, football or entertainment as a replacement for joy. So the more we place any energy on entertainment, we're losing that same energy to be able to energize what is the core of our joy. The core of our joy is letting the core of ourself shine. Your mission is to let yourself shine and then grow yourself. That's the same mission for everybody, always. And through that, you find your purpose, which is as you move down your journey, your road, your purpose meanders and changes because it must stay a step ahead of you. You must be going at something. Your life purpose and your daily purpose must be aligned. And through that process, you honor your gifts that are innate and the skills that you curate. And the key to doing that is following your bliss. Bliss is in what you already have, and you're letting it grow and you're showing it to yourself and others in nature. And bliss is also in learning the mechanisms of this place and learning skill and sharing them. Everything is here to be shared, and yet there's this implicit fear that everything must be held back. Mine, because there's not enough, not enough, not enough. It's like scurrying around looking for something that will finally make you whole. None of that shit exists ever anywhere. You can say that this place isn't real, but this place is like as as real as it gets. You can, through the characterization, the avatar of you, you can feel the inside of you, outside of you, the 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 natural world, the matrix world. You can access the core of you, the true awareness of you. You're functioning in a character position of the audience and the actor and the author internally all the time, and you have embodiment. You're doing everything. You can smell and touch and taste, and you're clairvoyant. Everything is here. This is real as shit. It's amazing. But people get themselves caught, which is fine because it's just like it's a process of unfolding without guidance. People get themselves caught in this new way of looking at it. They open a new door and they're like, "Oh, this life isn't even real," um, or "I'm just going to manifest $20 million. That's it," or "I'm just going to get rich and work hard for it, and not going to pay attention to any of the spiritual stuff." There's a requirement for everyone. It doesn't have to all be in the same lifetime, but time bends around you. There's a requirement for everyone to eventually find the operation of the middle path. Everyone's touched on the middle path before many times, but to actually live as the middle path and move forward in that manner means sustaining your awareness of yourself being in the middle path all the time. And when you fall out of it, then you support yourself in the mechanism of retrieving it, of walking back to it, and allowing yourself to. And you can't allow yourself to get back to the middle path if you're holding on to anger and grief or fear. Every essence of emotion or perspective in this reality of duality is at its core love and fear. And inside love and fear here is just like everything is the true energy of creation, which is the singular one love. Everything is love. Everything. There's a requirement in this place. I mean, it's perfect. There's a requirement in this place for something to give a barrier so that you can perceive in density which way to go. And thus, the characterization of the bad guy are those that are here to close the blinds. And you are here. If you're hearing this, absolutely you're here to let your inner light shine. And you're not here to do it for everybody else. You're here to do it for you. And when you do it for you, it then internally opens the door for everybody else. You're here to serve everyone and serve love by being the real you. But everybody's scared to be the real them. Why? Because everyone, including myself, has been trained to middle yourself to make everyone else comfortable, who's middling themselves to make everyone else comfortable, who's middling themselves all unconsciously, and nobody knows this, but they can feel it, and nobody ever fucking says it. Sometimes people on their deathbed say it, but they don't say it toward anyone else. They just say, "I should have just lived my life and not been scared." But when is that singular? Because everything, there is no time in the way we speak about time. There's just this singular one moment of now, this, that, this, this air, this ether. It's here, and it's nowhere else but here, right now, and right now, and right now, and right now, and it's still right now, right now. So when is this right now that you're going to all of a sudden say, "All right, I'm me. I'm shining all the way. I'm doing it all the way right now. I'm fully me." We are attached to a collective unconscious. Everything functions on collective unconscious. I don't mean, okay, that sounded inaccurate. Everything that functions has an attachment to a collective unconscious, as far as I can tell in this place. Not that that's the only thing that runs it, everything. It's just that everything has an attachment to it. You must find the strength in yourself to go through a rites of passage that you curate for yourself, because you must become strong enough for that and separate from the collective so that you can separate to be able to perceive. Separate to see. It's hard to see clearly from within something. It's hard to see yourself, but others can see you. They can easily point out your flaws, but they don't want to because they don't want to make you feel bad. And you can do the same to other people. But we're all functioning within a collective unconscious. The same levels of consciousness that are in play for the great all or for you individually are in play in this place as a collective. So super, self, unconscious, subconscious. And at the very bottom of the unconscious, there's a foundation that holds your belief structure or the collective's belief structure. And that belief structure is like mind boxes that around it have a filter of allowance. So the more you expand the belief structure, doesn't mean necessarily getting bigger. It just means the more a an awareness of a core truth is accepted in a belief structure, the more that is allowed to be proliferated into this magical mechanism that we call nature, this world, this realm. And that will then reflect back what is in the core belief structure. So it's the same with you, but it's also the same with collective. And people get caught, which is people get caught in a very normal process of fighting their desires or what they perceive as their desires in combat with what the collective unconscious program belief structure is. So you must go through a process of completely separating yourself from that to a certain degree for a period of time so you can curate who you are and grow. But when you do that, either intentionally or unintentionally, through a great awakening or tower moments or life falling apart or midlife crisis or whatever, trying to find oneself, or all of a sudden everything is just opposite of how it was 2 years ago, right? And everybody's like, what's going on with her? Not good. Well, she's probably completely on a different vibration and trying to figure out how to point herself in the direction that something inside her is either going to eat her up or it's going to open up her belief structure so that it continues to allow what's inside to shine out, because she's been holding on to this thing that she didn't want to make others uncomfortable with, but she thinks she's here for a certain reason and she has to do something. And that something is an external event or energy or focus, but it occurs from the internal of truly allowing yourself to open up, start with your heart, and let your light shine. This is not like soft hippie, whatever. As far as I can tell, this is exactly what the fuck is happening. And very, very few allow themselves to be scared or to be in fear or to be uncomfortable in a manner that they no longer have control as the character, so that they have to rely on their heart and their inner strength that they can't put their finger on beyond their mind, to rely on what's considered to be God or singular one love or their higher self or just nature to take care of them and point them in the right direction. That seems cuckoo. So very, very few ever go down the road of what I deem as the requirement to get past the fears of self-growth, with whether it's like self-help or business or religion, any type of spiritual development, uh, comprehending biology and the brain, looking at what the mind is, the, the requirement, as far as I see, is a process, because there will be a point where there's growth and then there's a like bouncing off the ceiling. To get past that, it's almost like a video game magic trick. You have to become less of yourself. So you have to become almost like ghost-like to get through that wall, to get through that ceiling. To do that, the mechanism is resilient surrender. Resilient, in which you believe in an absolution that you will never, ever, 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 ever give up. Ever. And at the same time, not relying on the character, the avatar of you, to be in control. So that's a little slippery. But, and this isn't where I got it from, but it's just an analogy that popped up. If you've ever taken any type of psychedelics, then that is the mechanism that gets you through. If you or somebody else around you is kind of this, I don't know if I like this direction I'm going in, you're losing the perception. Nothing's actually changing when that happens. You're losing the perception of control that you always are just accepting that you have all the time, even though you're not necessarily in control of anything. You just are under a unconscious expectation that you are safe and you are in control. And so whenever that occurs in some type of psychedelic river, and all of a sudden there isn't a true expectation that the character is in control. There's this potential for great joy. There's usually a leaning toward this fear of I I'm not going to be able to come back. I don't know what's going on. Somebody needs to save me. The way you get through that is by being resilient and truly believing in yourself and believing in trust. It's in trust. Trust of the process. Trust of life. That everything is the mechanism that is meant to be. And that you are who you're meant to be. And everything is exactly okay. And that if you'd like to continue to go further, you can. But to continue to go further, you must probably go a little deeper. And to do that, you must surrender. And so there's these invisible walls that we must go through of resilient surrender. It's all a process of allowing and remembering and letting go via forgiving, slowly perceiving the internal ropes that we're holding on to that aren't really ours, but that everything is a gift to us so that we can begin to perceive what it is that we've been doing to ourselves. Because as this process of life unfolds, we are growing ourselves through this story that we're telling ourselves. And some of it has been told in the beginning, and it's our job to, at some point, realize who we are and where we are and take the reins and write more story to benefit the greater us, singular one love, which leaves an imprint for others who curate and continue on this journey. Happy Holy Days Eve. Now there's a process of operation and creation that I'm not saying I figured anything out or like I'm the only one who sees it or anything like that, but that seems to be a pretty core replicated mechanism of how anything is functioning when it's growing. It seems to be the essence of divine female energy as a limitless space, but I'll define it as a circle that can be any size, and that is black space, and that is limitless possibility and the holding mechanism. And then there's a dot, which is divine masculine spark. So mind, space, open, uh, the spark, divine intention. The divine intention is the one thing. The mind is sitting there open, waiting, and that's kind of the problem with everything, is that we fill our minds intentionally and unintentionally with things that are not true to us and not for our best interest. And so we're living a life of slavery, but it's really just we are curating a an environment that is not true to our core based on what we pay attention to and what we give ourselves to. So this creative gender principle is female essence of space, holding, womb, mind, um, and then the heart's in, so that's attention. The mind's or the heart's intention is the spark, the uh, masculine drop of its true essence into the female holding space. And then as the female holding space accepts it, places its attention upon it, then the two come together and create the one, which is the third. And that is a process of friction or body or action. And that friction releases light, which creates the third thing. So everything in this realm of life, as far as I can tell, is a process of curating and releasing light. And this actual place, the actual density of it is light figments dancing in reflection to you, and that you are divine limitless spirit energy and everything is watching you, but you're not aware of that. So you're giving your divine attention to everything but your true essence, which you find in a superconscious state in your heart's imagination. And so whatever you are holding within your essence is in a constant state of dripping into your subconscious and projecting out into this place, and this place is reflecting it back to you. It's also occurring on a collective state as well. So if you're mostly attached to a collective unconscious, which most are, you're going to be perceiving mostly the collective's reflection. If you are completely unattached to everything, you will perceive mostly the reflection of nature walking, which would be more the God state. If you're figuring it out in your rites of passage, you're going to be playing with it, and it's going to reflect your man or woman state, and it's perfect. If you look at it through the mechanism of the creative generative principle, it's pretty easy to begin to perceive what animals and plants are doing, what your mind is doing, um, what other humans are doing. But there's a lot of frustrations that come along the way with you thinking that you know things, or that you have perceptions of things in which others are, it feels like they're doing harm to themselves or doing harm to you. And the communication can get very sideways too. And so it's a slow process of allowing and mastering yourself and honing in. Because one of the greatest things that we can do is find ourselves mastering overreaction, on top of overreaction. So we rise ourselves above the state of reaction, because reaction is predicting the creation through the creative generative principle. So it's like a spinning mechanism. It's predicting the event that you don't like to occur again. Reacting has never, ever, ever made anything go away. Ever. And so that comes back to the original point of fighting. I used to get, not in a lot, but a fair amount of violent altercations, as some young men do. And and that's because, now that I see, that's because I was not scared. I have a warrior in me, but also I was fighting myself. And so what's inside will appear externally. And then that fighting kind of turned into fighting the world or the realm or social orders or whatever was like a ick to my soul. Eventually, it dawned on me through this epiphany of, this is like a decade ago or more, epiphany of reaction. What is reaction actually? How is it functioning? What's the minus plus spinning of this mechanism? What is going on? This is the feminine and masculine energy inside me. When I react, what actually happens? But it just came to me. I drew it out, and then I have seen it occur every time in my life since. It doesn't mean be weak and passive and like passive aggressive or whatever. It means rise yourself and master yourself. So fighting internally, it's always internal first, and then externally, the bankers or the dark arts or the cabal or whoever, you're fighting those who you think are oppressing you, which is like a left or right side of a polarity of social programming, or like I'm fighting the CIA, Operation Mockingbird, Operation MK Ultra. This shit is, you're not on the cutting edge of anything. You're you're literally just repeating shit from supposedly 70, 80, 90, 100 years ago. And you're tethering yourself unconsciously to it. And so it proliferates more into your life. And so as that proliferates more into your life, you see more and more of it. And then you eventually react to it. And then what happens when you react to it? It never goes away. Because life begets. Where you're going, like life begets is the core of object in motion stays in motion. Newton is not some great guy or bad guy. Newton is an alchemist. He was tasked with providing what was the science of the day, equations, to explain the alchemy of wisdom. And so those equations, he was trying to figure out a way to put the alchemy into equations. It doesn't make him good or bad. We have this polarity inside us where we're always looking at this good and bad, this they're right, they're wrong. No, it's I'm not right or wrong. It's a nuance. And there's a mechanism of team that dominates everything in every social order. And everybody's always choosing, am I with this team or this team? And they don't know they're doing that. Team is never, ever in parallel order with truth. Team serves team. Truth serves truth. I don't care if you're on team truther. That's your fucking team. You're not really, really in it for truth. You got feelings in it. So anything we fight, we as divine limitless spirit energy are unconsciously tethering ourselves to. And so that thing will absolutely and always proliferate energy back into our world via the magical mechanism of reflection and fragmentation of this realm. Fighting is not the answer. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not a pacifist. I'm not a Gandhi guy. I'm saying I'm just about cutting them back to the fat meat all the way. I don't want these little mirrors of the rays of truth. I'm just not scared. I, I'm looking at the sun right now. Stare at the sun. I don't need something else. I don't need something else to tell me. And neither do you. You don't need some guy on the internet. I know that's ironic. You don't need some lady. You don't need anybody else's opinion. You need to go in your heart. Expand your belief structure. Create some allowance inside you so that you have some space for new, greater growth to occur. So you're not holding on to all these ropes of everything that you think is serving you, but it's really serving these external teams that have ceilings all inside you, all over the place, have you all bent out of order because you're trying to fit into 7,000 teams. You are divine limitless spirit energy. Everything functions only on the energy of you. You're it. You are love. And you, as that character around, it's like a basin, a vase around the, the very bottom of this incredible pillar of light that shines singular one love. You, as that character, have a mission, and it's to shine the real you. So, the more energy that we put into things that irk our soul, and we think we're fighting, but we're not really fighting it, the more energy we put into it, the more energy it gets. Like, what does a little kid like the most, more than anything in the whole world? Is when its mom or dad give it attention. That's what it wants always. Is its mom or dad's attention. That's also how all animals and all plants function. Start to perceive yourself. You think that you're not that great. Start to look around. Everything desires your attention because you are it. You are divine, limitless spirit energy. And the insinuation of society is that this place is big and you're not safe and you're small. Stay in your lane. There is no fucking society without you. There are no rules here, just guidelines. And those guidelines are wonderful. Start with the Hermetic principles and add on to that the Hermetic principles. What you pay attention to grows. And if you sit with that, just the Hermetic principles and what you pay attention to grows within yourself, and don't give your attention to anything else, close your eyes and breathe. You will find that the implication of the possibility of that is that this life is magic. And that there is no limit. And that the objective is to remember what was whispered to you right before you came here, which is shine your light. They're going to try to close it. They're going to try to close the blinds. You're going to hear a lot of stuff. It seems like it's all important because you want to take care of everybody around you. And it can't be that they're all fooled. But everyone, this place is tricky. It takes away your memory. So everyone has forgotten. And it's okay. It's not a judgment. The only true competition is within. First, look within. Train yourself to start from the heart. Train your mind to stop taking in information that doesn't serve you in your mind portal, small highway, and to put your spotlight of your mind on your heart. Listen to your heart in meditation or prayer or sitting alone, sitting with trees, water, whatever, and allowing that spark of your heart to show you the one thing that you're here to do now. Place your mind's attention on that spark of your heart. And then act ferociously, courageously with your body. And while you're doing that, continue to hold your mind's attention on your heart's intention. And listen to your belly, and it will tell you if you need to pivot or not. And there's your purpose. Find your purpose, honor your gifts, follow your bliss, start with your heart. It's not that complicated. Society tells you to do things in the wrong order and worship money. There's nothing good about money. Money is an exchange of human equity. Human equity is your time and your energy and what you choose to do with it. Everything is watching and serving you. And yet, all the man-made mechanisms of control, what you consider to be your enemies, are telling you, stay small. You need us, make money, serve us. There's something inside you that says, fuck that. But you're not sure how to get out of it. It's the oddest thing ever. The answer is start with your heart, go inside. You'll find the answer because it's who you truly are. And you just find the courage to take the steps to do it. And if you lose your way, you come back, put the same order and mechanisms in. It's that it's you. This place is an offering. There's no death, there's no death, merely opportunities before. This place is a constant offering of mirroring you. Fear is your mirror here. So everything that you don't like, all right, that's not what I'm supposed to pay attention to. But we've held all these mechanisms, all these ropes in for so long internally that we feel like how we've processed our internal confusion by adapting to social orders has it has like the right of way in our mind, in our consciousness. And we have to go through the mechanism of forgiving and letting it go. Let go of everything. Forgive everything. Forgive everyone. Forgive yourself. All is forgiven. And go in and listen to your heart, and your heart will tell you. It will tell you you are there. You just have to get back to the true you. Get back to that pillar of love that is you. It can be no other way. All that being said, I think I'm going to put together a presentation to make it a little bit more clear and see where we go from there. I love you. Prima Voltus Interior.